Generic greetings and welcome back to Prison Architect, where in the previous episode we worked out the rough dimensions and some of the planning for our new prison, the Female Felony Facility, and we want to get at least the Administration Centre grant done this episode, which means building this bottom building here, and ideally we want at least a rough idea of one of these cell blocks. So let's crack on with that now. So let's build, let's go over to foundation building brick, and we're going to build this bit right at the bottom here. This is going to be, as I said, the administration centre and all of the associated gubbins that goes in that. Also on the left hand side here we do have our protective custody, and as it's been rightly pointed out, there's no reason why we should have the kitchen and canteen on the left, because it means that they have to travel quite far. So what we'll do is we'll swap this side over to this side, but we'll plan that later on. We'll do that later on. So let's go over to measurement, and I want to measure 19 in, because then that should be the center there. So I'm double checking it is 19 by 19, which it is. So this is the center. Now I'm going to build the middle one first, because this is going to be the standard risk one. So we'll do standard risk, and then that'll be the model for the left, which will be high risk, which will have more security features, and then the right, which will be low risk, which will have nurseries and also family cells. So let's crack on with that. So assuming we're going to come in here, we want obviously a security room, and I think we want an internal 5x5, which is exactly that there. Now, in previous builds, we've had it so that the prisoners could not just get access to this, but they could sort of wander around anywhere in here. And a lot of things in the cell block in the prison would. The problem we had was that the rooms would require staff, and the staff would have to wander through. That's an issue, and I don't really want to do that. So what we could do is have it so that when people come in to say visitation, they just go into a door to the left, and then they're now in visitation, and that would sort of work out. That would work out. Is that a good idea? I don't think it's an unreasonable idea. What I was planning on doing is having it so there's a room where the prisoners, or I guess it would be the visitors would come in here and then meet around here, and the prisoners would come in there. Now this is going to be an open one anyway, because it's the standard risk one. However, for the high risk one, we might have to change it up just a little bit. How is that getting on? That is getting built just nicely, yes. So we've got other rooms as well. So things like the chapel and things like, I mean, you've got things like the chapel, and you've got the classroom. Now, history sort of teaches me, and experience sort of points that if we had some doors there like so visitors would only come this way, it probably wouldn't work anyway. So quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to try and waste my time on doing something like that. The plan, by the way, for this area is to have a walkway probably coming straight out here, and then this is going to be the canteen sort of thing. Although it will depend really on the size of how many cells we've got, and maybe we should build it that way first, like cells down. That actually probably is a better idea. I'll probably do it that way. I'm going to go over to staff and hire 1, 2, 3, 4 more workers, because, well, as you can see, they are not building at any great rate. We are still obviously removing trees as well. A lot of these haven't been ordered. We missed those, but we'll go to dismantle, and you can see they'll be removed as well. In terms of our intake, it does show quite high, but that is not a true reflection of how much money we're getting, just because that is including the sales from the trees and the logs and such. So yeah, just have to bear that in mind. So this is almost completed, and once it is, we will go ahead and do the warden's office, and that, you can see, is now getting placed. All the lights are going in there, and now we can do the warden's office, which will go in here. We also need an accountant's office, which we'll put in here. And there we are. So that's in. We will also put some staff doors in, 1 and 2. We will put a... Well, actually what we'll do is we'll designate it as an office first, because then that will give us a better idea of what we need, which is staff desks. Ooh, we'll probably rotate it around so it's like that, and like that, I think, maybe. No, probably a little further back, actually. We want a chair, and then a filing cabinet can go at the back. And then maybe filing cabinet can go there as well. Okay, so there are 2 offices. Now, inevitably, what will happen is I'll place them in one, and they'll go into the other one, and we'll have to change that, but it's not really a big problem. In fact, let's do that right now. We'll hire a warden, and what a surprise! They are not actually doing anything because one of them isn't classed as a proper office. Now, this one was ordered first, so technically that should be done. I will prioritise, however, all of this room because I can guarantee that that one will be done first because of, you know, reasons. Let's go over to utilities and to power, and we will place the power generator down there as well as a couple of these capacitors, and then the water pump can go on the top there. And obviously we do need to run some electrical cable, which will go straight up from... there will be fine, and then we want to run it across, and that will power all of these rooms up. So there we are. You can see it does say it requires an office there, but we now do have access to bureaucracy, so we can unlock things like finance, and they'll crack on with that. And then once we've got that, we'll hire the accountant there. So it looks like that office will be built just shortly, and it is not built because we haven't done a couple of things. They haven't done these 2 here. Okay, I'm going to go over to rooms and to staff room. I'm going to designate that as the staff room there because it is security, dogs, and security, dogs, and armory, and then the staff room there. I was questioning myself about whether I needed a staff room or not, and you do. We don't have staff needs, but there is a staff room requirement, so there we are. So that's all the storage in that thing there, so that's cracking on. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to our walls here, and what I want to do is design the... I want to design the amount of cells in here. I want to place them all in. So let's go for the cells. So assuming we're going to run them along as a 2 by 3, we couldn't do that. That's probably the wrong way of doing it. We'll probably say 2 by 3 standard cells. Now, there's also been some comment about these ones down here saying they are very, very close to this wall, and that is correct. That is a problem. That is a security risk. I might have to redesign that, so maybe we shrink them down a little bit and have like a bit of a walkway there. Or I use perimeter wall. Actually, no, we can't use perimeter wall for an internal. I'll have to have a think about that one. Anyway, so let's just start designing these cells here. And these are obviously right on the edge as well, but that's just something we have to put up and deal with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so there's 10 in there, and that covers about a third of the total area there. So I'm just going to roughly measure off this side as well. I'm not going to put all the lines in, we don't need any of that. At the back here, we currently don't have anything. My intention was not to have cells along here, but rather instead what we do is have something like that, where we can have cells sort of back to back like that, and then same on this side like that, and then once again back to back like that. So let's just assume like say that these are going along like that. I might as well put them in while we're here. As I said, this is going to be the model one for what we copy off the other sides, so there we go. And then that's a walkway, and that's a walkway. Okay, that is a possibility. Another option is that, and we'll move them in by a couple, just to have some more room. No reason we can't. Hang on, that's wrong. That was the wrong... Remove the wrong one. There we go. And is that better? Well, there's a bit more of a gap between the cells. So 20... Oh, done the same on this. Oh, actually too long, isn't it? So gap of 3 there. And gap of 3 there. The problem with that is, obviously, that's the centre of the prison. And we're just losing a lot of space in the middle. We can't really utilise this for anything. I think we're going to go back to the original idea. I think that's better. As I said, just means we can save a bit more space. And importantly, let me double check that. 7, yeah, that's fine. Run that down, run that up. 2 off there. And it means that we've actually got room enough in the middle to put something. Alright, And we got a fairly decent amount of cells there. So was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 20. And then is it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I mean, if it was that, we'd be on 20, 60 prisoners there, I believe. That's roughly 60. Okay, that's not too bad. None of these are graded though, and we do want graded cells, but we'll come back to that. So, we do need to hire an accountant. Let's go for that now. So, we'll go for one accountant. Bump, there we are, that is done. That is now a grant completed. I'm going to pick up the long-term investment first, because it takes the longest to finish, and I want to unlock extra grant and the bank loan, and then we also want to start unlocking health and psychology, because those will allow us to pick up another grant, which will be the well-being grant and such, and then we'll get that as a nice bonus as well. So while we are waiting, we will put in some walls here. Obviously, these walls are not really strictly necessary for the functioning of the facility, but we are going to put them in nonetheless. I mean, a lot of these ones, as I said, just we don't really care about them for the time being. We'll put that like that, and staff doll go on there, and then I think a large jail doll go there. Excuse me. That is one generic unit of sneeze. Today's beverage is a nice cup of coffee. So, over here, back to the design, we have decent amount of cells there. We could, if we wanted to, get rid of those and instead run some graded cells. So we could have some graded ones like so, and have it so that they are in a different league. And that is actually not too bad. It does fit in quite well, doesn't it? It does fit in quite well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. And along, down. There we are. Do we think of that? Could do, maybe. I'm of the opinion, however, that perhaps we should have double grade. Do you want double grade? That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Nothing can go in the centre in terms of building wise, but we can place a common room in the middle if we wanted to, or just like phone booths and such and benches, which is probably what we'll end up doing. How are we doing for grants? We are going for extra bank loan first and then the extra grants. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, something like that could function. Another option is to get rid of that and have that as a holding cell, which is always a good idea. So perhaps, yes, that is what we'll go for there. And then if we really wanted to, we could have some solitary in here as well. What would solitary look like? Solitary would be like that with an entrance there. And the same thing on the other side. Now, how many prisons do we have in here? It is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Plus 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Right. Plus them. We've actually got less because of how much we've shrunk it down. Okay, fair enough. The question is, do we shrink this further down? Because we currently don't have anywhere to... We don't have any extra space for... Well, we've got solitary. And when it comes to this side on the left, we'll have to increase that solitary. I think what we'll do is increase the size of this one. I think we'll put some more in. I think about halfway would be sufficient. So it's, was it 96, was it? It is a 96. Okay. And technically there, I think. That's about the middle. I think that is exactly the middle. Okay. And that's basically saying that half of this facility is dedicated to prisoner holding. Which I don't think is unreasonable, really, is it? Another option that we could do... I mean, we've got the graded ones up there. I don't think increasing the grade here is a good idea. Perhaps increasing the grade there and giving these a slightly better grade at the end is fine. Although, we could also do that. And then we've got pretty much everything. So there's a 5x3, and then it goes up to a 5x4, and then a 5x5, which is really, really silly. That's actually a bit better for me. I actually like that. And what it means is that the graded cells are closer to the edge and less likely to escape. Okay, I think we'll go with that. We'll run with that for now. It sounds like we have got another investment we can get. I'm going to go for, again, the short-term investment there. So that's fine. So let's just crack on. While we're waiting for those grants, we'll crack on with the design of this thing. So we've got those in there. That is fine. When it comes to solitary, as I said, we could have something in the centre here, which I don't know if that is sufficient in terms of its sizing. I always tend to go for the minimum size for the solitary. I mean, you could do like a 2x1 like that. And it's not unreasonable to say that we can put a toilet in, because normally I don't put them in at all. But let's just see what that would look like. You can put a toilet in there. No, it should really be a bit bigger, shouldn't it? Just 2 solitary with a toilet in there. Actually, that's not too bad. Like that. Right, like that. And then this would be our that would be our holding cell, which is a total of 5x5, which is exactly the size you need for it, I believe. Cell, no, holding cell, 5x5. Yeah, okay, so that would be sufficient. That's fine. So we've got a lot of gappage around here, which is a lovely term. What do we put in it? Well, we could have the showers in. We could easily put the showers in there. Shower door, well, entrance is there, and then put your showers lining it. That seems to work. And in the centre we have whatever ancillary stuff there. Okay, first draft. First draft. That's what we're going to go with for our first attempt. Okay. The disadvantage, however, is there's 2 entrances. I prefer the 1. So is there a way we can resolve that? I mean, you could just do that and open this up in the centre, but I don't like that. What can we do about that? Also, yeah, these will probably be put in that way instead. Hang on, let me get this right. Is that correct? Yeah. There we go, that's better. No, they're all going the same way. I want to go the other way. That's better. Yeah, that's better. Right. I digress. So yeah, coming out of here would be a problem because then we've got this like silly space here that we can't do much with. Is there a better way of doing this? Almost certainly yes. Can I figure it out? Almost certainly no. Well, I can, just not probably within the required amount of time. That's the wrong button. Bureaucracy. We want to unlock from the Warden. We probably want to unlock maintenance and security. We don't want land expansion. We don't yet need micromanagement. Prison policy would be good as well. There we are. All of the trees, as far as I can tell, have been removed. There's still some awaiting removal, but we'll get to that eventually. Okay, back to planning. So there's that. I mean, can we change this? We could always, if we wanted to, shift it so we get rid of some of these. It means, again, getting rid of some more of these. But we have it so that solitary is like that, for example. It's not going to fit in. Yeah, it's going to be a weird size unless we just do it that way, like we did before. Maybe size 2. No, okay. No, we're going to go back. I think what we had was okay, you know, I'm just being fussy. Alright, so let's assume that we're going to have it like so. And you'll come out of here into whatever this happens to be. I think a yard would be pretty good around here, wouldn't it? The problem is that I do want to funnel them around like that to maybe a yard and have these as whatever buildings you see. It's because of this, the size of this. I mean, technically we can put another cell in and go around. we could do. And then have doors there and there. Bit of a security risk. Very big security risk. The other option is to shrink the showers down somewhat, which isn't unreasonable to assume that we can do that. This goes up to there instead. And is actually that size. Oh no, that's all kinds of wrong. It's all kinds of all over the place. Okay, get rid of that. Put it back to how it was. I think that was fine as it was. Yeah, I'll redesign this. The middle of that. I'm not going to do it now. It'll take ages. Okay, so then we'll come around here. And then into, well, we could do it two ways. I was thinking of maybe an entranceway there. Actually, entranceway there perhaps to a yard. Something like that. And walkways down either side of it. From the end, we'll say 8. Like that. Again, this is just temporarily put in. Like that. And then just double checking the internal is 8. Internal is 8, yeah. And that runs along there. Then there's your yard, which you've got a size of 11 by 13. We'll make it 12. Like so. Then you can have an entrance there. I mean, do I really need this corridor here? The good thing about having this corridor is we can have a dog walking around all the way around. Okay. Doesn't need to be like that, but we might keep it like that. And then I think when it comes down to here, this is where we can't have it basically symmetrical. It's not going to happen. So we have to have a kitchen and canteen placed in here. See, I would love, really, really love it so that we get to a point like, say, there. And that's your canteen. Right? There's your canteen. And then like, your kitchen's off to one side. And then these are all of like your shops or whatever. Like along there. Actually, you know what? That's not unreasonable to say that we can do that. We do have the space. When we can have that as a shop. I'm still tempted to make those cells just because it works out. And just have the doors there and there. Yeah, I think just because it fits, it's going to happen, isn't it? There we go. Okay. So, assuming these could be like your shops, I mean, how much space do we really need? It's always best to have them 5 by something. One, 2, 3. So, just off memory, we could have chapel, parole, library, shop, the classroom, I think, and what else? So let's try that again. We'll go down here. And we'll see. Oh, common room. We need a common room as well. Well, we've got all the space down here. Oh, we need visitation. Okay, so there's a lot more than I originally anticipated. Okay, different plan then. Different plan. Different plan. Different plan. Same sort of idea, just different plan. We could do that. We could have it running all the way along that. And, in fact, we're going to shrink this yard up because we really don't need that size. So we'll have an internal of, what is it? 13? Nah, that's long enough. By 8. That's big enough for it. By 8. Bumf. Right, there you go. There's your canteen. 3x4, 3x4. Ooh, it's actually a bit small when you look at the amount of prisoners that we have. Could just make it really long, though. I mean, there's no reason why we can't make it really long. Okay. Maybe really long canteen coming right to the back. Like that. Yeah. Perhaps, perhaps. Then you've still got your security room in here somewhere. Like that. And then off to this side is your kitchen. And then you've got your different rooms in here. And we need an infirmary, which could easily be plonked on one of the sides as well. Visitation on the left. And that in there. I'm hopeful that that's going to be a good plan. I'm going to do some maths, and we'll see next episode whether that works out. I think it's going to be a little bit too small, that canteen, but then again, I've always historically over-egged the canteens and put too much in. But I'll have a think about that one, and next episode we'll see what we can do and what we need to do, and then crack on with some more grants. As you can see, the long-term investment has got 108 hours left, and the short-term will be done in 31 hours. We've got the basic detention centre there. So what I'll probably do is just wait a little bit of time until those grants are done, and then allows us to crack on with some building. It's doubtful that we will build that in one go, because that's going to be a 60,000 plus change thing. However, what we will do is go ahead and I think increase our loans. So if we go over to where is it? Grants. You can increase your bank loan. And the reason you want to do that is, although as you can see it is decreasing our cash flow, it's also increasing our credit rating, which will give us a higher loan amount, and I think you can go up to about 25,000. Might even be more. But we'll do that. We'll increase our loan to that, and then we'll pay it all back. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. As always, hope you have enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.